Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new week of Missouri State Highlight Show with Coach Terry Allen. I'm your host, Daniel Shedd. Coach, we're here at the brand new Bear Fest Village, and this place is pretty nice.
It really is, Daniel. It's the whole moving from across the road behind us to right in the middle of campus. We sit between the stadium and the McDonald Arena, and it's been a good move on the university's part.
And we're right in here in front of Bill O'Neill Way, where you kind of take a walk through with the players a couple times before the game. Talk us through that.
Well, the fun one is about an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. We actually are housed in Forsyth, which is right down the road here where our locker room is. And we walk amongst the people at Bear Fest Village over to the game day locker room, which is just to my right. And then we walk back through the crowd, and actually right behind where we're putting up a bear statue. And the old Lucky Rub.
Yes.
And hit the bear statue and then take the field. So it's all part of a little tradition building and really some good things.
And this all comes as part of a student fee passed last year, the Bear Fee. Raised $13 million right here at Placer Stadium, and it has these students excited.
Yeah, it does. It's a great thing. It's a great message from our students to our team that our students care, and that's what made yesterday a little frustrating.
Well, I've been here the last 2 weeks here at Bear Fest Village. Let's take a look.
With the new day comes a new beginning, a fresh start, and a clean slate. As the sun rises over the east bleachers of Placer Stadium on game day, new turf, new bleachers, and freshly painted bear heads await the arrival of the MSU faithful. It's a day that's been long awaited by coaches, players, and most importantly, Missouri State fans. It's also a day that begins at the brand new Bear Fest Village.
It's absolutely electric. There's loud music. There's food, there's drinks. You know what, when you're in a close proximity with people, it forces you to build a community. And I think people are really, really thrilled about it.
This is a big time atmosphere, and it's exactly what we wanted to have happen. This whole Bear Fest Village in the middle of campus is a new tradition. There's all kinds of things that we've added to the game day atmosphere.
It's pretty unreal. No words can't do it justice. It's amazing to see all these people in Missouri State. I'm just thinking about what it was like last year and what a big difference it is this year. It's pretty remarkable to see that change, and I think people are going to have a lot more pride in their university and be a lot more proud to call themselves a Bear.
And let me tell you, Coach, this place has been packed the last couple of weeks. Now I want to talk, before we get to Youngstown State, I want to talk about the bye week. Both of you guys had bye weeks headed into this week. What's the schedule like for you guys on a bye week?
Well, we actually took last weekend off. So we let our players go home, see their old high school teams, whatever they wanted to do. I think, probably the thing that you learn the most from the bye weeks, I think both defenses got better from the bye weeks. I think they both had a better chance of kind of evaluating the offenses. I felt as though our defense played well yesterday, and I thought Youngstown's defense played awfully well too. So bye weeks are interesting. They're gone now. It's 7 more consecutive weeks of games.
Now you talked about letting those players go home. How big is it for a player to get that kind of rest? You mentioned 3 or 4 days. That's almost a vacation for them.
Well, it's somewhat of a vacation. We started football practice July 30th, so they've been going for 2 heavy months and every day. So now to have a couple days in there, it was good for them, I think. Obviously, we came out fresh. We just weren't as sharp as we would have liked to have been.
All right, well, let's take a look. Youngstown State, 12th ranked in the nation, first actually ranked matchup here in Placer Stadium since 1996. That goes back a ways, but let's take a look at the Bass Pro Shops game highlights. And Coach, Youngstown State, they get off to a quick start here.
Yeah, they come out firing. They actually did the double move, got behind our receiver, and pick up 56 yards. Then they're going to come back and throw another slant pass to the inside here. And they go up 7-0. Good job them. They came out and only had 2 big plays on the day, a 56-yarder and an 81-yarder.
Yeah, 3 plays, a minute 20 into the game. What's your mindset after, they go down and they just score like that?
Well, I mean, it's football. It's a 60-minute game. I think that, you just have to settle down and create some things, and we certainly do there. There's Dylan Cole did a nice job. He did a good job all day long.
Yeah, but more from him later. Let's talk about this. Jody Webb kind of on the counter, and he goes all the way down the field to score to make it a 14-0 game. Were you surprised by their offense early?
No, they're a good offensive football team. This is a big play for them, obviously. They ran a little cutback draw, and it gets out for the 81 yards. But we really settled down defensively after his. Here, Kiera gets outside and takes it and crosses midfield, but we really struggled all day offensively. We've been playing really good offensive football up until yesterday, and we tried to come back and run a little fake punt to Caleb Fitzel, and they come up and stop him, and we just couldn't get anything generated offensively. And as you mentioned, we're down. We get a turnover here. Brad Pryor knocks it away and get back after it in that situation. But again, Daniel, throughout the course of the day, it was just a struggle. But it wasn't a struggle for Cole. He was all over the football field.
No, he was all over the field. Once again, kind of more troubles here on offense. Kiera Harris throwing the ball. This gets picked off.
Yeah, it goes in and out. A big Gannon goes up and tries to get it, goes through his hands. That's their guy had 2 picks on a day, and both of them were kind of off of balls that went in and out of our guys' hands. We just had a tough day from that standpoint. Here we almost returned the favor, but Caleb Fitzel almost gets an interception, come back.
Now, you talk about this missed field goal, first miss of the year.
Yeah, the guy was 9 for 9 coming into the game, and at that time we're still just down 14-0, and actually had a shot. So we come back and we're able to we get pressured, but we come back and you're going to see we get the big turnover as far as a blocked punt, and again it's into the second half. We're only down by 14. If we can get something offensively. We'll do a nice job here. Stop them on 3rd down. You can see we're going to force them to punt. Ball's out. Fight for it. It's ours. Good job in there.
And once again, your defense really stepped up yesterday, making plays, especially when the offense couldn't move the ball, to go back out on short rest. Here's Kiera Harris, just misses Gannon in the end zone.
Yeah, just right through his hands there, just a little bit too far. Well set up play, the old Tebow play, had him behind the defense and couldn't get it in the end zone.
And now here's another end zone play. Kiera once again just kind of missing his target in the end zone. It was kind of a theme all game.
Well, right before that, we'd actually had a completion in the end zone to Malik, but unfortunately he was out of the end zone when he caught it. So here's where we come back. Okay, this is Kern Blamey comes through, gets a hand on it right there. There's Malik Earl, comes up with it, gets it into the end zone. Unfortunately, we had a penalty right in there where we was after the blocked punt, so we did retain possession of the ball, but we had to drive it down, and actually on a 4th down play, a throwback to Big Gannon. Kiera gets it, and now we're down 14-7.
14-7. What's your mindset going in? You just scored.
We've been through this.
It's only a 1-score game.
Yeah, we've been through this before. This last couple of weeks, as far as we just got to play for the 60 minutes and stay after it. Here we do a nice job. Dylan folds inside, makes the play here. So the key there, Danny, is you're asking is our mindset is we got a chance, but unfortunately this one goes through the hands of one of our guys, and this guy gets his 2nd interception on the day, and both of them just really good fortune for him, and our 2 turnovers where we created 3, just a frustrating way to lose it.
And that goes through the hands of Matty Johnson. Not typical of him. Normally has pretty good hands.
Yeah,
but that's just kind of how the day went.
You're exactly right. It was kind of how we had more drops yesterday than we had all day, all year long.
Okay, so let's take a look at the Bud Light play of the week. It's the punt here. You talked about you get the ball into the end zone. It's for a touchdown, but there's a penalty that calls it back. How did that penalty affect the game?
Well, I think it cost us about 3 minutes of time of possession, and we were trying to get something going momentum-wise. Position, it's one of those things. It's kind of like the day. It's just close but not close enough.
And of course, it gets you in the end zone, and then like you said, you have to waste 3 or 4 minutes trying to get back into the end zone when it could have been spent either defensive stops or turning the ball over or scoring again.
Exactly. That's just. But you got to give credit to those guys on the punt rush team to get the turnover and Malik picking it up, and we always talk about scooping and scoring. We just had the penalty behind it.
Okay, now let's talk about our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Player of the Week. It goes to Dylan Cole. This guy's a junior in the classroom, a redshirt sophomore on the field. Talk about his day.
He's played well all year long. He's one of the tops in the country as far as tackles for losses. Had the interception, had the fumble recovery, and just he's a big-time player.
And he's been, like I said, he's been playing well all year. We'll be right back with more Missouri State highlights after the break.
It's college game day, but for some, it's more than just 60 minutes of football.
I firmly believe that what's displayed on the field is a revelation of who a man is. It's not the developer. And I think that kind of gets misinterpreted a lot of times. But who we are becoming throughout the week and the months and the years prior to, game day gets revealed when the lights come on.
To a person sitting in the stands at Plaster Stadium, the name Cody Kirby may have different associations. To some, the memory of a decorated Bears quarterback may dance through their heads. To others, the title of coach, mentor, or professional athlete may come to mind. All are correct, but none completely describe number 13.
You always hear all the time that it's the best 4 years of my life, but I almost feel that way, and it was a great experience just being around. I think this community, this university.
In 2007, Cody won Freshman of the Year and then Missouri State Player of the Year in 2008. His senior year, the quarterback broke record after record, most yards, touchdown passes, and offensive yards, all while re-earning himself Missouri State Player of the Year for the second time. His hard work also earned himself a stint in the Canadian Football League.
The whole process of even getting to play here, getting the opportunity to play here was a blessing.
4 years later, he finds himself again on the Missouri State sideline, but this time not in a jersey, but as a coach.
I enjoy being out there at practice, seeing the guys develop as players and as young men.
In the press box or on the sidelines for the Bears, Cody simply acts where needed. Although the role has changed, the passion hasn't faded. In fact, his appreciation for the game and coaching has only grown.
I didn't realize how much time that they put in. And I go back to as a player, I thought I took pride in watching film. I mean, I wanted to be the hardest worker. But the amount of hours that the coaches put in watching film and preparing are second to none. I mean, it's unbelievable. It can be very draining, but to see that scoreboard to have more points than the opponent, it makes it worth it.
Whether associated with playmaking or play calling, quarterback or coach, you'll always find a Bear alum convinced that football is more than just a game.
Football in and of itself is not, I guess, the important thing. It's the platform. It's the arena that is created to develop those relationships. So I think the relationships, the sense of your life being used for a greater cause, that's the goal, that's the pursuit. Football is just the means of doing that.
Touchdown, Missouri State.
Now, Coach, a guy like Cody who comes here and plays, he knows the program, loves the program. What does he do like for you on the coaching staff?
Well, he's in a limited capacity. He's a graduate assistant for us. But he's a great guy to be around. Great guy to be around the players. A great guy to speak about the university. He's special.
And during the week, I talked with him. He loves this program. He loves being around the guys. And like I said, being around football, you can't replace that.
No, he's gone on. He's played this arena stuff. He had a shot up in the CFL, but he's back. He's from Rogers, Arkansas. So he's relatively close to home. He's got his parents down there, so it's all good with Cody.
Just a good guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, we'll look at more of Missouri State football. Stay with us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Coach, kind of a frustrating loss last night against Youngstown State. Looking ahead now, though, I think senior offensive lineman Zach Cooley said it best with you have to have a short memory, and you have to ignore what happened last night, and you have to look forward. So looking forward to South Dakota, what do they bring to the table?
Well, South Dakota State's a very good football team. John Stegelmeyer's been the head coach up there. He's the all-time winningest coach in the history of South Dakota State football. So, they're coming off a very stinging loss themselves. And so this should be a heck of a football game. I think both teams are fighting. We talked about that weekly quest. Now we'll go up on Friday, and we have to fly to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and that's about 60 miles from Brookings. And we'll stay in Sioux Falls, and unfortunately, it's another night game, so we have to kind of wait around all day long to take the field. But the other thing that's very interesting, Daniel, is this will be the first and only game that we play on grass. It used to be the norm. Mm-hmm. Now it's really unusual, and because of this wonderful stadium we have back here and moving the track and field, we don't have grass practice field. So it's just something that you have to be aware of. I don't think it's anything that'll make a huge difference in the outcome of the
That
game.
doesn't change the game plan at all. In
No,
terms
no,
of,
no, no, no.
Yeah.
No, unless this is the middle of October, where
That's
you
a
get
good
up
point.
to South Dakota in the middle of October. It could snow.
Okay, so let's talk about, is there anything that you learned from this past weekend? What can you take away? Obviously a lot of frustrations, not executing, but is there a pinpoint that you can say we can grow from this? We can.
Sure. It's we just have to be sharp offensively. We learned that we could be a pretty good defensive football team. I think the things that we have to just settle down and go back and be ourselves offensively and not let ourselves get rattled and put points on the board when the opportunities arise.
Now let's take a look at the Missouri Valley standings. Coach, we talked about South Dakota and you both playing for that first conference win. Southern Illinois and North Dakota State both at the top, undefeated. Any shock here?
Not with the Bison. The Bison haven't lost a game in 28 games, so you expect North Dakota State to be up there. I think obviously Southern Illinois has gotten out of the blocks. They've got the win against Western Illinois and then the win against Southern Illinois. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Southern Illinois goes to North Dakota State this next weekend.
And so that's going to be a pretty good matchup. In terms of the rest of the lineup, do you see anything in any shocks?
No, it's Danny. It's way too early. We've all played one league game except Southern Illinois and Western Illinois have two of them in there. It's surprising that Indiana State is off to a 4-1 start. They didn't win a game in our league last year, and now they're 4-1. So anything can happen on any given Saturday.
And I think we proved that yesterday
Yes, we
against
have.
Youngstown
Sure.
State. In terms of traveling on the road, is there anything that changes in terms of the player's mindset or anything like that? It's
No.
obviously the second time we have to fly to get to the game.
Yeah, it's just it's business as usual. You just have to adjust to what the setting is and where you're flying into. As I said, we're going into Sioux Falls, and Sioux Falls is a bus ride up to Brookings. But because of that, we'll stay in Sioux Falls, and it's just the logistics more so than anything.
In terms of South Dakota on the field, is there anything that we need to try to exploit? Is there a game plan? What do they like to do?
Well, Zach Zenner is the all-time leading rusher in our division, and he's a two-time All-American, and he's really their focal point. So we'll have to keep an eye on Zenner. There's no question about that.
Is there anything offensively that you tell your guys to go forward? Obviously, didn't execute a lot this week. Is there anything that you try to change up? Maybe, Kira Harris in the post game said, "Hey, we just got to execute." Is that basically the game plan moving forward?
Yeah, we'll have to see what South Dakota presents defensively, but we don't want to be 9 for 28 throwing the ball as we were last week. So we got to get back to the 600 yards that we put up the week before. So you just got to make sure and go into it. That's where the weekly process of being consistent on your approach hopefully kicks in and takes care of us.
That's a good point. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Make sure to join us next week as we travel to South Dakota State and play. Now, here's a look at the rest of the schedule this season. Like we said, we're back on the road on Saturday. The next home Bears game is October 18th at 2 p.m. right here at Plaster Stadium. You can purchase tickets at the Bears home game by calling 417-836-7678 or logging on at MissouriStateBears.com. And remember, your child could also be the Academy Sports and Outdoors kickoff kid at the next Bears football game. Sign up for Boomers Kids Club at MissouriStateBears.com for more information. Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. Coach, I want to thank you very much for joining me here today. Hopefully we'll have a great game in South Dakota and then return. And like you said, keep on pushing forward through this Valley tournament.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.